All right, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, citizens of YouTube, I have what I consider to be a very, very important article I need to read here to you this morning. And of course, it has to do with gun legislation out there in California. Because of the enormity of California, because of the size of California, a lot of times when gun legislation originates there in that particular state, because there's over 30 million people in that state, it has a tendency to flow to the other 48 states, and then Alaska and Hawaii, which I don't understand how they still call them states when Hawaii is called the Kingdom of Hawaii. But anyway, that's for another video, okay, another time, all right? But it does behoove us to somewhat stay up on the firearm legislation, because let me read it to you here for a second, okay, and get a good understanding. All right, I'm gonna read you this article right here. The title of the article is "What Happens in California Does Not Stay in California." All right, and it reads, "As most gun owners know, some of the worst legislation in history has originated in California, and the mere size of the state, quote unquote 30 million people, along with their lopsided number of congressional representatives, means that many of their lunatic laws wind up affecting the rest of us. On January 1st, 2018, hundreds of new laws, many affecting gun owners, took effect. Although residents can still own guns in the Golden State, they live under some of the most repressive laws in the nation. But now, the overwhelming Democratic-controlled state government has decided to enact even stricter laws. Starting this year, all ammunition purchased in California must be made in person through a vendor licensed by the Department of Justice. In other words, you can't go on any of the websites and purchase ammo and have it shipped in. I don't understand. If you live in California, why are you still there? It just don't make any sense. And why are you still there? But anyway, there's no limit on how much ammunition you purchase in the state. Residents can technically still order ammunition online, but starting January 1st, purchases must first go to a licensed vendor who can charge you a processing fee. You still got to go through a vendor. You just can't have it just shipped to your door. Well, I guess you can after you pay the fee, all right. In other words, this is just another hoop to jump through to make you, it's a deterrent thing right now. And effective July 1st, 2019, you also have to pass a background check. That's in order just to buy ammo. This will further increase the cost of gun ownership, which is likely the true purpose of the law. Now, first of all, I can't go on further in this article right here without educating you. And one of the education I want to give, there's only two people that don't have to have a license in order to purchase guns, which I still don't understand according to the Second Amendment of the Constitution of the United States of America, why you got to have a license in the first place. But nevertheless, here we go. Criminals and police. They don't have to have guns. Criminals don't obey these laws. These laws are only for law-abiding citizens. I don't understand why that is so hard. It must be all that nuclear deposits that's going on in the sea over there from Fukushima in Japan has done hit the coast over there, and the radiation levels must done really topped off over in California. Let me read on. The law also applies to transfers of ammunition from outside the state. Note that the intentionally, quote-unquote, vague term transfer could mean that you could be found guilty of a crime if you possess ammunition that your son or your daughter from another state brings or ships you as a gift without going through the state licensed vendor. Californians can also no longer purchase assault rifles. They call that thing behind me an assault rifle. That's what they call it. All right. A term that has come to mean just about any gun that liberal California legislators consider scary looking. Scary looking. Don't look scary to me, but that's what they say. It says scary looking. However, existing owners are grandfathered in and may continue to possess them, but they will have to register. You see, the census and gun registration is how Hitler and the rest of the people, communist people, went door to door because they knew what you had and confiscated the weapons. And now you got places all across this world right here that think that they're safer and their crime levels is off the chart. You know why? Criminals don't obey laws. And you got a lot of innocent people being jacked because they don't have the ability to take care of themselves. All they got is a picture of a gun on a wall. That's not going to protect you. Unreal. Anyway, however, existing owners are grandfathered in and may continue to possess them, but they will have to register the ones they have. If you can't see the potential for future restrictions and or confiscation, you aren't paying attention. These and other anti-gun laws are currently being challenged by the gun rights group, such as the Firearms Policy Coalition. Additionally, lawsuits have been filed against the state over such laws limiting access to firearms, as well as prohibitions against things like bullet button, equipped guns, and other dangerous accessories. For decades now, the anti-Second Amendment zealots have realized that incrementalism has the best chance of slowly taking away your rights. The salami by the slice strategy. Their rhetoric has become more deceptive. Their words, gun control, have been replaced with gun safety in an attempt to sound bending. Hey, we aren't against gun ownership. We just want to pass common sense laws to promote gun safety. There ain't no such thing, no damn common sense law. Any law that restricts you and your person from being able to defend yourself, there ain't nothing common sense. It's psychopath. That's what it is. It's a bunch of psychos. And remember, it's for the children. Yeah, everything is for the children. Yep. Sure it is. All right. Unfortunately, in many interactions with gun owners, I have recently heard too many of them voicing the opinion that gun control is no longer a threat. They seem to feel that somehow, with the defeat of a few high-profile gun control advocates, an example Hillary Clinton, the battle is over. But those who have spent almost literally a lifetime fighting for our Second Amendment rights have long warned that while we may have won some battles, the war to protect our rights will likely outlive most of us. So keep an eye on any pending legislation in your state, because as with many other bad laws, what happens in California seldom stays in California. You know, I got a question. My question is this. If a law is unlawful, what is the penalty for disobedience? I mean, what is the penalty for literally civil disobedience? See, again, I said it once, I said it 1,000 times. My problem in this country is that they have conquered us by continually dividing us. We do not live in strong communities. We do not live in a tribal society. We don't have a Eastern mindset of strong family. Family is mostly just stuff that's just dropped off the edge of our lips. We really, truly don't care about nobody. Just the American spirit, but the immediate family. But, you know, we got to ask ourselves these questions, and they need to be asked and spoken about. You know, here at Straightway, we talk about stuff like this all the time. Me and the brothers are sitting around. When the Shabbat is over, we're still in fellowship, and these issues, they come up. We talk about them because you've got to be able, you've got to be able to determine for yourself when someone is pretending to be lawful, but they're violating your laws, if that is the day, the time, the hour, or the season for you to disobey that law in civil disobedience, because it's an unlawful law. I hope I was able to stimulate thought. Who knows? I just hope that I have. Now, the other day, I had somebody, about 40-something miles from here. I was at a store. And they say, hey, you're Pastor Dowell. I said, yeah, been that way for quite some time. He says, I just got a question I want to ask you. If you're a pastor, here it goes, here it is. If you're a pastor, why do you carry a gun? I said to him, I realized his condition. So I said to him, what you believe comes from your church and comes from this society and the way your mindset has been trained and reared. And it's almost inconceivable because it has literally made you incapable of thinking any other way because you've been programmed to think another way. And for instance, your pastors at your Christian churches out there, they all walk around with this soft persona. They all got this little almost effeminate voice and effeminate character about themselves, literally emasculated men. And you can't fathom a pastor of the Hebrew persuasion, the true Hebrew persuasion. You can't fathom someone like them because y'all's made us men of war. Being able to defend our person. You see, I'm not going to pray if someone is getting ready to do harm to myself, my physical person, or my family when we are out. I'm not going to sit there and pray that Jesus would miracle us an angel of the Lord to come and stop this evil right here when he has literally made my hands for war. So if I'm in the best possible position because he has equipped me mentally, physically, has literally made me capable, I have not been disarmed psychologically because of this society right here. And I'm capable of defending myself, my person, and my family. I'm going to do it. Because there's no commandment against killing, lawful killing. The commandment that says thou shalt not kill in your King James Version of the Bible means you shall not murder. That means you just don't go out and just kill people cold-bloodedly, heinously and stuff, victimizing people and taking advantage of them for your own personal persuasion, gain, or good. No, you defend yourself, your person. See, we take a defensive posture and we only become offensive when our defensive posture is violated. And again, it's the theology. A lot of you people, it's hard for you to think straight because your theology is way off. It's way off. You believe wrong, you act wrong, you live wrong, you do wrong. And everything about you will literally be wrong because the way you believe, it carries you down a certain path. It carries you down a certain way. And when you believe that way, it's going to affect everything about you in life. You got to keep that switch right there at the ready to be able to flip it any time. Let's just say if I follow the sentiments of your societal norms or your utopia of a world, your paradigm, the way it's been shaped by you. Let's just say if I have those type of thoughts and sentiments that I'm not supposed to arm myself, and I'm at a convenient market one day, somebody decides because of, literally people becoming entrepreneurs because the economy is literally on life support, and they decided they're going to go and make a cash advancement at one of these gas stations. I just happen to be in there, and they decide they're going to shoot and kill everybody. What would y'all say to me? God, what would he say to me when I ask him up in glory? If I was to ask him, God, why didn't you protect me? I ask, and you know what he would do? Everybody's going to be judged by the things that are written in those books. And I realize that we don't have a lot of things that are written in those books, but we do have enough to be able to discern and know the mind of Yah. He would simply just say, son, didn't I tell you to defend yourself? Didn't I teach you? Didn't I tell you that I made your hands for war? Well, you just got an advancement, a quick trip to eternity because you didn't want to obey my book. So what are you complaining about? You're here in Shemaim, heaven. You're here in glory, so what's the big deal? Now, I'm going to be glad I'm in glory, but there's going to be a lot of people on the earth that's literally going to cry and going to miss me. And I'm not going to be able to come back and communicate with them what y'all said when his word is already sitting here in front of us. Then I left him and told him, go read Luke 22:36, and I left it at that. All right. And remember, when Jesus cut off the ear of that servant of Rome, when Peter cut off that ear of that servant of Rome, Yeshua HaMashiach, he did not, Jesus Christ the Messiah, he did not tell Peter, disarm yourself, give your sword over to the Roman authorities. He just told him to put it back up in his place, because at that particular time, you're trying to thwart the will of Yah. I'm here for this purpose. But in case you people didn't know it, in case you haven't gotten any discernment, let me give it to you. Jesus walked around with 12 armed disciples everywhere he went. You begin to get the picture? Does not the president walk around with armed guards? Does not Louis Farrakhan walk around with armed guards? Well, I quickly seeing, because of the hostile environment that we're in right now, the day and the hour and the time is coming when Pastor Dowell, not only have I armed myself, but I'm going to be walking around with armed guards as well myself.